Today's cocktail video is inspired by these little beauties. These are Cadbury's brand new chocolate and orange 12 bars. Now, some of you with Drinkstuff trade accounts or business accounts, especially if you're in the sort of Cambridge, Hertfordshire, across to Oxfordshire, down south, you go all the way down to the South Coast, Hampshire, Sussex, Kent. Some of you with business accounts may have encountered Grace. She will be your kind of go-to BDM, RSM, whatever you want to call her. She'll be the one that looks after you. Now, she has got a flipping drawer full of these bad boys. And she said to me, Steve, can you do me a chocolate and orange cocktail? Because I absolutely love these bars. So I thought I would actually go one better. I have turned this into a £25 haul video for you. Now, the obvious way to do a kind of chocolate and orange cocktail, be it like a chocolate and orange martini, you'd use an orange liqueur like Cointreau or Triple Sec, Grand Marnier. You'd use a chocolate liqueur, whether it's something like a cacao, brown bowls, Jaffa, all those kind of things. We've got Mozart, we've got like a thicker cacao there. We've got a creamier, like a Baileys-esque chocolate liqueur. So you can kind of do all those kind of things with vanilla vodka, maybe you get some chocolate sauce and rim the glass. That would be, and use some cream or milk. That would be your kind of go-to obvious chocolate and orange cocktail. But I know Grace a little bit. I think Grace is a little bit more classier than that. So my head immediately turned to my friends at Master of Malt. Drinkstuff's friends, my friends, Steve the Barman's friends at Master of Malt. I love Master of Malt. There you go. This is one of their brands, Atom Brands. And it's kind of, as you can see, it's Jaffa cake flavoured. I don't know which way around. We've got rum, vodka, gin, and we've got their brand new passion fruit flavoured Jaffa cake. So chocolate and orange with passion fruit gin there. So I immediately thought I could go down that route. But then I thought, what if I could go to a supermarket and spend less than £25 and get everything I needed from a supermarket, so you didn't have to spend £25, £30 on just one bottle? What if I could spend less than 25 quid? And to cut a long story short, I did it. I popped to my local Tesco's. I did a little bit of research online first, so I knew what Tesco stocked. But I found this chocolate and orange gin liqueur. It cost me a tenner. I think it cost me a tenner, $9.99 for a bottle. It's only 20% ABV, so it's quite a lower ABV, and it's a liqueur, so it's a bit sweeter, and it's a 50 cl bottle, so not a 70 cl bottle. But for a tenner, I'm now going to hook you up with some awesome chocolate and orange cocktails. So let me run you through the other ingredients that I bought. I spent £20 and 39 pence, so there's plenty of wiggle room there. There's a reason why I didn't spend the full amount. It's because I've got some ingredients here already. For example, I wanted some honey. I wanted to do that. I brought honey twice now in previous videos. So you could have bought honey and that would have taken you up to maybe £21.50. So I've got plenty of honey here already. I wanted some almond syrup. And again, I've already got that from a previous haul. That almond extract cost me less than, I think it was 99p if I remember rightly. So again, combined with the sugar that I bought a few weeks ago, I've got plenty of sugar syrup. So I could have bought the honey, the almond extract and the sugar and still had change out of the £25. So I'm going to use them. So what I did buy is I've got a bag of 5 oranges there, so I'm going to use some oranges. I've got 2 nets of limes. I've got my espresso. This is the espresso that I will have chatted about in a live stream a couple of weeks ago now, but this is the espresso that I use in all my espresso martinis. So I've got some espresso there. That was probably the most luxurious, £3.50 that cost. I've got a couple of bags of mint. I've got Tesco's fake cola, Coke Zero, 50p. It's a bargain, 50p. It does go flatter quicker than normal Coke, but you know, for 50p, I couldn't get any Tesco's own ginger ale, so we've got Canada Dry or Schweppes, Canada Dry, whatever you want to call it, ginger ale. And as I said, I've got my chocolate and orange gin liqueur. I didn't buy any chocolate bars for Garnish. I didn't buy any cream or anything like that. I still think you could have bought those and still had change out of your £25. So first off, I've never tried it. What's it actually taste like? I tell you, it's actually not too bad. It's very orange forward. I don't get much alcohol kick off it, but that could be kind of dangerous. It is 20% ABV. So we're talking like Malibu strength, you know, effectively Malibu strength, maybe stronger than Aperol, those kind of things. So 20% is healthy-ish. Plenty of orange notes coming forward. It does finish with a little bit of chocolate. And it's what I was really hoping for. I don't get too many gin notes from it. If I picked up juniper in another couple of sips, I would be very surprised. And that, to be fair, is what most gin liqueurs are. They're kind of no different from any other liqueurs. They just use gin as the base, real dialed back and juniper, and then add lots of different flavours. So with these, do not see these as gins. They're not gins, of course they're not. They're just gin-based, but probably just a flavoured liqueur. No different to Bowls or any other kind of liqueur brand out in the market. So how could you drink that as a simple serve? Well, straight away, not thinking about it, I'm actually going to do a little riff in a minute using the cola, so stay tuned for that. Ginger ale is a good one for this, and I've tried this with some of the Jaffa cake stuff that I showed you previously, so I know the ginger works. You could have gone, you know, I could have added that. I didn't add that because that's 50p, so I've got plenty of it down here, but lemon lime, lemon Sprite, something like that you could have used with. Tonic would be a good one as well. Mediterranean tonic, for me, even better than normal tonic. Don't see that as a gin and tonic. Of course it's not. You're not going to get the gin notes. But as a simple highball, as a simple mixed drink. I tell you, Fever Tree's Clementine tonic water. Clementine, I think it's Clementine tonic water. And also what I'm thinking here, Fever Tree's spiced orange ginger ale. They would be amazing serves for this. Right then, so let's get into the cocktail. So for the first cocktail, I'm gonna do a highball serve, and it's gonna be a simple riff using cola, but we're gonna use, obviously we're gonna use the chocolate and orange liqueur. I'm not gonna call it a gin liqueur, chocolate and orange liqueur. I'm gonna use the cola, I'm gonna use the lime, and as I previously mentioned, I'm going to use a bit of the honey syrup. Effectively, it's just the honey I bought a couple of weeks ago. I think it's less than £1. Just the honey in a 2-to-1. 2 parts honey to 1 part boiling hot water. It just makes it more liquid and easy to manage in cocktails. So this is a build straight in the glass. I'm just going, because this is sweet anyway, you don't want it too much sweeter. I'm just going for 10 ml of honey syrup, just to kind of give us those lovely honey vibes going on. I'm then going to squeeze in 2 wedges of lime, and this is where you would adjust the taste. If you want a 3rd wedge, go for it, but the 2 wedges for me will be perfect. I'm then going to go for this chocolate and orange liqueur, and I'm going for a 50 ml double bubble, obviously. As I mentioned, as a 50cl bottle, you're going to get less, okay? You're going to get 20 drinks out of that, you're going to get about 10 double bubbles out of that, as opposed to 14 out of a larger bottle. So it's a bit smaller, but it's cheaper. I'm now just going to top up with some ice. I've got about 4 huge chunks there, and then we are going for our fake, I've got to stop calling them fake, but our fake Coke Zeros. I tell you, as I say, 50p for a bottle, you cannot go wrong, because even if you have use a bit of it and it goes flat the next day, you've still got 50p. It still cost you a fraction of what the real stuff will. Does it taste as good? We'll find out. So 2/3 full in the glass. I'm not going to fill it up too much because I'm going to stir it, and obviously if we fill it up, we're just going to spill it. So combine the honey. Make sure you get the honey and the lime into the cocktail. Maybe top up with another ice cube. And then I'm just going to simply just add a little bit more cola. That tastes so good, but I knew it would because I've already done it using my Jaffa cake rum that I showed you. That I just love the honey with chocolate. It's one of these weird things I never thought would work. I actually tried it originally with honey tequila, which is a honey liqueur. But this does the job very, very well. Chocolate notes, orange notes, tiny bit of honey. The Coke actually tastes really good. I'll garnish that up with maybe an orange, maybe a bar of 12 for the photo, but it's a good one. Now for the second cocktail, I've not really talked about espresso martinis too much on this channel, but I thought this would be a good time to start doing an espresso martini, because I know this works. As I say, I've used it with other products. So this is why I bought this espresso. And just a very, very quick deep dive on that. As you see, if you watch my channel, it doesn't matter if not, because I'll explain it now, but this is the coffee I use all the time. Simple, easy to make. It's £3.50, easily the best instant espresso for me personally on the market. Much better than the Azera tins that you'll see. Just for me personally, I love it. How to make it, as you would do any espresso. You remember, you're making espresso, not an Americano. So a heaped teaspoon with maybe 50 to 100 ml of boiling hot water. That's all you're not adding a whole cup of water, because you're making an espresso. That's what it's designed for, little amounts of coffee. Now, in here, yes, I've got a bigger jug. I'm actually going to do the live show now, which you'll have seen a couple of weeks before this goes out. So I've got some espresso made up there. The size of this jug, I've actually got 4 bar spoons full of espresso in there, and that'll do me for the live show. But as I say, 1 heaped teaspoon of espresso to 50 to 100 ml of water, job is good, and that's your espresso. And for this, I'm just going to very simply use this liqueur. You could lengthen it out with a bit of vodka to spice it up a bit. If you've got vodka at home, you could use rum. Brandy would be another one for this. Or you could go the other way and use something like Mr. Black, a coffee liqueur. I personally wouldn't use Kahlua with this, not because Kahlua is bad, but Kahlua is a sweetened coffee liqueur. Mr. Black isn't. Mr. Black hasn't got the sweetness to it. And remember, this is a liqueur. So if you add in Kahlua to it, it will be kind of sweet. But me, if you're going to pep it up a little bit, vodka, gin, rum, not gin, sorry, vodka, rum, brandy, spiced rum, anything like that. But I'm just going to do a simple split base with this. So very, very, very simply, we're going to do a 50ml double bubble of our chocolate and orange gin liqueur. And then we are going to do a 50ml double bubble of this espresso. It's been made about half an hour. It doesn't matter if it's piping hot because the ice will chill it down, but it's been made about half an hour. So just 50ml of espresso. And then we're just gonna ice this up. Now I know the question that is coming, it's not gonna be the same as proper espresso out of a machine. You're not gonna get the nice frothy crema on top. Well, let's find out, shall we? Let's find out. So daily exercise time, hard fast shake, 10, 12 seconds. Right, that is nice and cold. There's plenty of froth. Now, as there's no other liquids or ingredients in here, it's just kind of going to be the dilution of the ice essentially. So we've just got 100ml of liquid. I am going for a Nick and Nora serve. But as I say, if you're adding other vodka, rum, or lengthen out slightly, you could go martini or coupe glass. But Nick and Nora will be perfect for this. I'm just going to double strain. And there we go. Look at that. That is settling like a perfect pint of Guinness. I have got some coffee beans down there. I will put some coffee beans on top for the garnish. 3, obviously, because why? Health, wealth, and happiness. That's what it signifies. Look at how that's settling. That is like a proper pint of Guinness. I tell you, that espresso is genius. And that tastes so good for me. The only thing I will say, the only thing it does lack is a little bit of body, a little bit of kick to it. We get plenty of coffee, we get chocolate and orange to it. You just, if you want an espresso martini, you just want a bit of extra booze. And I know all of you that are watching this will have vodka, gin, rum. I keep saying gin, vodka, rum, maybe even whiskey at home, maybe even a tequila at home to pep that up. But that is genius. Cheers. Now for the cocktail number 3, I'm going to do, I suppose it's kind of a loose riff on a mojito. It's kind of a punch in that sort of sense as well. But we're kind of going to do a chocolate and orange mojito punch, whatever you want to call it. We're going to use the chocolate and orange liqueur. I'm going to use the ginger ale. I'm going to use some mint, and I'm going to use a lime and juice of an orange. And I'm also going to get the almond syrup out. So I've got the almond extract. All that is just sugar syrup, so 2 to 1, 2 parts sugar, 1 part water, with actually, for that bottle, that size bottle, I use 2 capfuls of the almond extract, and that will work perfectly. And that's been made a week now, and that is still ultra vibrant in almond flavours. So first ingredient, I've just got a lime. I'm just going to I've chopped the lime in half. I'm actually just going to use one half of lime, so squeeze that in. Now, stupidly, I didn't bring my other much larger squeezer in from home. So I'm going to try, we should be all right. I'm going to use the juice of 1 whole orange. And this is really, really juicy. And this will be much better than carton stuff. The same as probably the juice that I use, the 100% pressed, the fresh stuff in supermarkets. But 100 times better than the carton long life stuff. In goes the second one. You might, if you want, you might even add another orange if you've got more oranges. I'll leave that completely down to you, how much orange you put in. I'm just gonna use 1, but I've got, as you can see, I've easily got a 50ml double bubble there. Right, mint, pick off, this is nice fresh mint, pick off about 8 to 10 mint leaves. And we know what we're doing here, 2 more, 8 to 10 mint leaves. Don't muddle mint, you never muddle mint. All you need to do, palm your hand, give it a spank, and then we just pop the mint in a glass. I'm then just gonna use my almond syrup or Jat. It's almond because there's no kind of orange flower water or rose or vanilla in here. So it's just an almond syrup essentially, but 15ml of that. Then going for my chocolate and orange liqueur, I'm going for a 50ml double bubble of that. And then we are going for the ginger ale. They've not called it, it's not Canada Dry anymore. They're kind of rebranded. We all know, the old school will know it's Canada Dry, but it is Schweppes. Schweppes Canada Dry, it's the same thing, UK. I know there's separate companies in America or Canada or whatever it is, but they're very much the same thing in the UK. No need to measure this actually. I'm just gonna half fill the glass. It will be about 75 to 100ml. Half fill the glass. Now I've got some crushed ice ready to go here, so I'm gonna use crushed ice. 2/3, that'll do for now. And then we're just gonna take a long bar spoon and then we're just gonna give it a little churn, combine all the lime, combine the sweetness from the orgeat through there, give it a good stir, top it up with a bit more crushed ice, nice mountain on top. And then garnish wise, you want a nice decent bush of mint on top, awake those aromas there. You could garnish that with chocolate. You could even use the spent orange, like even sort of wedge that up if you want to. Oh my God, that is so good. Orange and chocolate. The chocolate doesn't get lost on the aftertaste. The orange, and that is so, the almond hits me now. That is really, really, really good. Let me know in the comments which one's your favorite. And if you want to watch another £25 haul video, right there.